Oh, 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 I've always been a quiet man, I keep my feelings down. The most respected, steady soul in this respectable old town. I go to church on Sunday and I stand there straight and tall, and I keep my hands inside my pockets and I never give my all. I see the others singing loud with their arms up in the air, and I judge them just a little for the passion that they share. Cause my faith is a quiet thing, it's dignified and deep, a respectable old secret that a respectable man should keep. And I thought that's what you wanted, Lord, a calm and holy grace, not a wild and messy spectacle all over this whole place. But then I read of David, a king of wealth and might, who took off his own robes and danced with all his might. He danced before the ark of God, a wild and joyful scene, and for a moment he was not a king, just a soul washed fully clean. And the truth that hit me right then in a humble and holy glance: if a king can be a fool for God, then I can learn to dance. She looked at him with scorn, she said he'd brought them shame, that a king should not be jumping around and calling out God's name. But David said, I'll be more undignified than this, you see, for the God who chose me over your own father's family. And I saw my own reflection in his wife's own bitter pride, and the cold and lonely prison I had built for me inside. Cause then I read of David, a king of wealth and might, who took off his own royal robes and danced with all his might. He danced before the ark of God, a wild and joyful scene, and for a moment he was not a king, just a soul washed fully clean. And the truth that hit me right then in a humble and holy glance: if a king can be a fool for God, then I can learn to dance. He left his throne above to die upon a rugged cross in an undignified love. He wasn't worried about his reputation or the shame he had to face. He was just dancing to the rhythm of a wild and holy grace. Oh, the king's own dance. Oh, teach my feet the moves. Oh, the king's own dance in these old and dusty grooves. Let me dance, let me dance.
The sun was hot on Carmel, the air was thick with lies. 450 prophets with madness in their eyes. They were dancing for their idol, they were screaming out his name, trying to start a dead God's heart with a wild and foolish flame. And the whole world stood there watching to see who'd win the day. And I was just one single man who'd almost lost his way. And they cried from morn till evening, till their voices were all raw. But their wooden God was silent against God's holy law. Then I rebuilt the Lord's own altar with 12 simple chosen stones. And I prayed a prayer so quiet, it was just for him alone. And I said, Lord, let it be known today that you are God up high. Then the fire fell from heaven, from a clear and empty sky. It burned the wood, it burned the stones, it burned the very dust. And it shattered all their idols into ashes and to rust. And the people fell upon their face with a holy righteous fear, 'cause the God who answers by fire had made his His presence clear. And I think about my own life and the idols I have known, the gods of wealth and comfort that I've placed upon a throne. I've called on them for rescue, I've called on them for peace, but their silent, empty promises have never brought release. So I'm standing on my own Mount Carmel in my own and modern time, and the choice is still the same for me, this weary soul of mine. And I'm praying, Lord, let it be known today that you are God up high. Then your fire falls from heaven, from a clear and empty sky. It burns my pride, it burns my lust, it burns the very dust, and it shatters all my idols into ashes and to rust. And I fall down on my own face with a holy righteous fear, 'cause the God who answers by fire has made His presence clear. 'Cause the final fire from heaven, it fell upon the Lamb, the Son of God who took the wrath for the sinner that I am. His sacrifice was the true flame, His love the truest sign, and the God who answered Elijah is the same God that is mine. The God who answers by fire, He is God the Lord alone. The God who answers by fire, sitting on His holy throne, He is God alone. The stone was rolled away, the tomb was cold and bare, just the folded linen grave clothes, but my Lord, He wasn't there. My mind was numb with sorrow, my soul was filled with dread. They'd taken Him, they'd stolen Him, the only words I said. I was weeping in the garden, in the gray and early light. My whole world was a graveyard in an endless lonely night. And then I saw a figure through the tears I couldn't see, just a gardener in the morning mist, I supposed he'd be. And I asked him, "Sir, where have you laid my master and my Lord?" And my broken heart was hanging on His every single word. But then He spoke my name, Mary, just a whisper soft and low, and a lifetime of my sorrow was a seed that couldn't grow. In the sudden sunlit glory of that single holy sound, and I knew Him in that moment on that consecrated ground. It wasn't just the garden, it was the man who'd set me free, and the voice that calmed the angry seas was speaking now to me. My sins were like a legion, my reputation gone.
I was a broken, worthless vessel, waiting for a different dawn. And he was the one who found me, and he cast my demons out. He was the only one who loved me in a world of fear and doubt. And to see him on that cruel cross, to see the life he gave, was to feel my own heart buried in that cold and borrowed grave. But then he spoke my name, Mary, just a whisper soft and low. And a lifetime of my sorrow was a seed that couldn't grow. In the sudden sunlit glory of that single holy sound, and I knew him in that moment on that consecrated ground. It wasn't just the gardener, it was a man who'd set me free, and the voice that calmed the angry seas was speaking now to me. And I fell down at his feet, and I cried out my own Lord, the resurrected living promise of his everlasting word. He said, "Don't cling to me now, Mary, for I have not yet gone to my Father and your Father in the breaking of the dawn." The gardener's voice still whispers my own name. The gardener's voice, a soul-igniting flame. He knows my name. He knows my name. I ran from your own presence, Lord, I paid my own damn fare to run away from Nineveh and from your holy care. But you sent a storm upon the sea, a storm that bore my name. And I knew that I was guilty and that I was to blame. So I told him, throw me over to the mercy of the waves, the final act of a prophet who just stubbornly misbehaves. And I sank down to the bottom of the mountains in the sea, with the seaweed wrapped around my head for all eternity. I thought that was the end of it, a grave of dark and blue, till a greater kind of darkness came and swallowed me for you. And I prayed a prayer from the deep, in the belly of my shame. And for the first time in forever, I just called upon your name. I remembered your own temple, and I turned my heart toward home. And your mercy heard a sinner in that dark and churning foam. 'Cause there ain't no place that's deep enough, there ain't no place so low, that the grace of your forgiveness cannot find a seed to sow. And I think about the dark places that I have dug for me, the prisons of my own pride, where I've refused to see the path that you have for me, the words you want me to say. And I've run the other direction, day after foolish day. And I've ended up in darkness, with the seaweed around my soul, feeling like a broken vessel that can never be made whole. But I'll pray a prayer from the deep, in the belly of my shame. And for the first time in forever, I just call upon your name. I remember your own temple, and I turn my heart toward home. And your mercy, hear a sinner in the dark and churning foam. 'Cause there ain't no place that's deep enough, there ain't no place so low, that the grace of your forgiveness cannot find a seed to sow. 'Cause for 3 days and for 3 nights, the Son of Man would be in the belly of the earth itself, to set a sinner free. He was the greater Jonah, who went down into the grave, so that every prayer from the deep would have the power to save. A prayer from the deep, he heard my cry. A prayer from the deep, he did not pass me by. He heard my cry.